Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
And we are back. It is Sunday, Sunday Night Live. It is the zoo, and everybody is invited. We've got the thepreparedmind.club. We've got the Prepared Mind on YouTube and the Prepared Mind on YouTube. We got two of them. Make sure if you're going to do a super chat up here to get your question on the screen here, you've got to be on the YouTube with 4,900 subscribers. But we have our other YouTube. It's back. 80,000 subscribers strong. We've got subscribestar.com. The Prepared Mind is there. That's another premium site where you can contribute, watch, and participate live Monday through Friday. We've got X, we've got everything. We got Facebook. I'm sure there's stuff I don't even know about we're being streamed out to. Welcome one, welcome all. We are all in the house. Ooman, moderator in chief, is on the scene, and I want to let everyone know right off the bat, it's going to be a hell of a show. A lot to talk about. So it is Sunday. It is the nighttime. It is live. We're at the studio. And, well, yes, we're live at the studio. And it is dark here, actually. If you've got something to say, if you want to talk about politics, money, military, foreign policy, domestic policy, illegals, any topic on your mind, hit the super chat button, and we'll get you on the screen and we'll make you famous. Sunday Night Live, the zoo is your show, folks. You get to pick the topics. I have an entire list. Dozens of items to talk about, but I leave it up to you. We've got people lined up already, all ready to roll in the super chat section, and anybody and everybody who does $50 or more super chat, well, buys me a Glenfiddich Scotch. That would be the 18-year small batch single malt whiskey, and we get several of those every show. And I tell you, I appreciate every last one of them, and every first one of them, and every one of them in between. So we've got right out the gate, we've got Darcy T starting with a $50 PayPal super chat donation. But all super chats help keep the lights on. All super chats keep tuna fish and Spam in the pantry, along with rice and beans, and whatever it takes to keep me going, because this is my fight, folks. This is my fight, and this is the drink. Thank you, Darcy T. Semper Fi to you, and God bless, and, well, salute down the hatch. And that's how I like to start the show. Woo! Okay, but here's the deal. I don't know. I already forgot the deal. It is your show. You get to pick the topics. And it's always a blast for me to figure out what you guys are up to. And you don't have to agree with me, folks. It's about sharing ideas in the comment section. It's about sharing ideas on the screen. It's about sharing ideas so that people think, instead of believing what they're told by the news, their retarded relatives, their retarded bosses and coworkers. That's not what we're here. We're here to actually think. Now, Darcy T, $50 PayPal super chat. Oh yeah, down below. If you don't do super chat on YouTube, you can do PayPal, Venmo, or CashApp, and that comes right into the stream. Well, on my side, anyways. So we've got to also Chin Music has done a $52.23 super chat donation, and he said at some point during the show he's going to show up. We'll get his question and comments. well, read or written on the screen or both, who knows. But back to Darcy T. She says, I hope you, your family, and all the folks of the Prepared Mind had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And thank you, Darcy. She says, here's my question for tonight, Zoo. If Trump is going after Venezuela due to the drug cartels, why isn't he doing the same for Mexico and other South American countries who house the cartels? Methinks something stinks in Denmark, and it's not the cheese. And she wrote Skål or Skål. Prost, salut, bon appetit, cheers. And in all ways, thank you, Darcy. Now, this is an amazing question you ask. And Uman didn't know it was coming. Hell, I didn't even read it. And we had the same conversation just prior to the show, getting the old vocal cords warmed up before the 2 hours of tonight's Zoo. La, 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 la. Yeah, I should be able to speak. So you ask again, if Trump is going after Venezuela due to the drug cartels, why isn't he doing the same for Mexico and other South American countries? Now, the cheese, stink or not, is not what's stinking up, Denmark and, South America. You are exactly right in thinking we should be doing more, in my opinion, about both Mexico and Canada because of the fentanyl drugs, the cocaine, the fucking heroin, everything that's being dumped over the border. Getting drugs to America via Venezuela, little trickier, right? You've got to take it by boat or small plane from there all the way up and try and avoid the authorities, right? And these little fishing boats from Venezuela, they can transport hundreds of pounds of drugs. And that part's not a joke. It doesn't take a whole pound of drugs to kill a human. It takes one good dose, right? Half a teaspoon. You're done. If it's fucked up or whatever. Any way you look at it, people are getting hooked on them, no matter how little or how much, no matter how deadly or how inert, it hooks people on the drugs. Now, they got to go from one island to the next and refuel. Maybe they can skip an island. I've been in the Caribbean. I've flown over the Caribbean, and you see island. You can see the entire chain through the Caribbean all the way leading to Florida. So you've got to get through all the islands and then get to Florida and then hope, the sheriff's department, the police department, the Coast Guard, those guys are out there looking for drug dealers. Okay, so it's a valid question. We've got more dumping over the border, both northern and southern, than we could possibly get from Venezuela. So why? So we have to ask ourselves, what makes Venezuela unique and different and special and everything else? Well, let's start with the gangs. Venezuela has some extremely nasty gangs, and they have members up here. We need to take away their funding and support and make them want to get the fuck out of our country. Right? Simple answer. It's the gangs. Well, Trens de Araguaia, which is a Venezuelan gang, is no more or less deadly than all of MS-13, which encompasses all of Latin America. So it's not just the gangs, is it? Is it just the drugs? No. It's not the gangs. No. What else could it be? We've talked about the oil, right? Mexico has a lot of oil. Mexico has a lot of drugs. So why aren't we going after Mexico? Well, maybe it's because Venezuela is a country we can topple, blame the drugs, right? Give it to the oil companies. No, I don't know. Yeah. Why don't we go after Mexico? Right? Is it just to stop the drugs, or is there something else? Right? Well, Mexico is doing deals with China. Mexico is allegedly doing deals with Russia. So it's not like Mexico is nobody. Right? Well, Russia and China also have a deal with Venezuela. They want to protect Venezuela. They want to help Venezuela. They want to work with Venezuela. It's interesting that Russia has so many communist allies that are, well, trading partners, meaning, let's see, North Korea, China, Iran isn't communist, but it's pretty fucked up. South Africa, they certainly have a socialist communist bent to them, not to mention in a completely racist program there. Those are all part of the BRICS nations. So when I talk about BRICS using gold, by the way, as an international unit for settlement purposes, paying your bills, I don't admire them. I just know it's a smart thing to do because it puts them all on equal playing field. Either you have gold and wealth or you don't. You can't print money, fake money, none of that other shit. You've got to trade and pay your bills in something real, gold. But all these fucked up countries are working with Venezuela. So it's really kind of a allies and axis thing, right? But yeah, Mexico is also part of that fucking program. Mexico is doing deals with Russia and China. Now, what else does Venezuela have besides oil and drugs and gangs? They do have gold. Venezuela has good natural resources up on the land, besides the cocaine that grows there, right? They've got gold in them dire hills. In fact, South America, the continent, is absolutely littered with raw materials, resources, gold and silver. Okay, those are precious metals. What about other things? Yeah. How about lead, zinc, copper? I don't know, tin, nickel? Fuck, they've got everything, right? Not to mention vast agricultural resources that is not cocaine. But so why go after Venezuela? There's a concept known as, well, let's just call it dominoes, shall we? You knock over one domino, and everyone's like, oh, we're playing dominoes. So you do one, then the next, then the next. And as you topple them all, you build more momentum. You build a progressing force, right? Let's just say the United States and the international cartels that influence Washington, D.C., whoever that may be, whatever country that may be. Maybe they're interested in getting into these South American countries. And they're going to use the old, we don't like what you're doing with drugs. We don't like what you're doing with humans. We don't like what you're doing with this or that. And we're going to use that as an excuse to come fuck you up militarily, take your shit, install a government that's friendly to us, and we'll call it macaroni. We'll call it good. That could be it. That was the old way. Use military might, use financial and economic threats, and worst case scenario, you go in and you do a CIA regime change, right? Well, those are all kind of awful. Whereas China, especially, but other countries a little bit, they're offering to cooperate with countries in Africa, South America, Central America, the Far East, the Near East, the Northeast, and the Southeast, right? Everywhere. What they're saying to these poor countries is, we will help you with your infrastructure, electric, water, sewer, roads, highways, bridges, and especially seaports, right? We can help upgrade medicine, technology, education, right? So they make these offers to these countries like, I don't know, Congo, Niger, and other countries that are fucked up. And so the countries, they don't just sell their raw materials to the lowest bidder that can, muscle them. What they do is they get a better deal out of it. So, China is using sugar and a sweetness to their offers rather than a bitter, salty, right? We're going to kick your fucking ass if you don't give us what we want. And that's kind of what it looks like is going on in Venezuela. I mean, and I'm not saying, they're good guys. I'm saying they're fucked up guys in Venezuela. They're fucked up in Mexico too. When the fucking president of the country, old Shine Bomb, right, says we don't want to violate the rights of the drug cartels by telling them, you can't be drug cartels. Give me a fucking break, right? That's the country on our southern border, touching 4 fucking states, running people, sex trade, drug trade, murder for hire, back and forth across the border. But we're going to go after Venezuela first. I would think we would clean house with our closest 2 neighbors, and that includes Canada. The largest fentanyl pushing operation in the world is through Canada on the West Coast and fucking Vancouver, pushing drugs into our country. No, I thought it was all Colombia and cocaine. I thought it was all heroin coming out of, well, Afghanistan. No. It's fucking Canada. Now, Uman says there's probably all kinds of reasons we haven't even thought of yet. Yeah, this is just the really obvious stuff. Maybe Europe has something that they've got a problem with Venezuela over. I don't know. You know, there's only so much that any of us can know. I keep my ear to the ground. I try and pay attention. But I do remember that years ago when Germany told the United States depository, we want our gold back. However many hundreds of tons of gold Germany sent to the United States, well, because of the Cold War with Russia, or the Soviet Union, if you will, they wanted their gold back. And the U.S. said, no, you can't have your gold back, man. And they said, well, it's ours. We want it back. They said, well, it's going to take, 5-6 years. And they said, the fuck it will. Give us our gold back. So the United States government gave them someone else's gold. Right? Well, Venezuela called England on the phone. I believe Nicolas Maduro was in charge. And he said, England, I'd like my gold in Venezuela back. Okay. And England told Venezuela to fuck off. They don't get their gold back. I don't know if they ever got it, but for a while there, they were telling him no. Now, user, whoever the heck that is, I hate it when YouTube will not get stuff right. Anyways, it says you go for the weakest link first. C, that's C. Big C, little c, big C. Anyways, C, thank you, C. I remember that's the brain right there from Pinky and the Brain. Remember that. Anyways, yeah, this is the dominoes. You knock over the easiest one first, takes the least, right? But then it'll build momentum and knock down other chips and kind of push your way through it. The problem with the old way, and I'll be very frank about this, is war is used to enrich the rich. War is used to increase the power of the powerful. That's it. That is the fucking reason for it all. If someone is weak and they need to be stronger, they'll attack somebody that they can defeat to make them stronger. If someone wants to make money, they use the money they have to go after something else that'll make them even more wealth. So it's about wealth and power, control. Whether it's kings or bankers, it doesn't matter. You go after someone weak. Now, here's the problem. They used to do wars. And then we had 2 world wars, right? World War I, World War II. That destroyed so much shit in Europe. They said, we're not fighting another war in Europe to enrich ourselves, to make the rich richer, because it just destroyed the country, destroyed the infrastructure, destroyed the industrial base, destroyed agriculture. Let's not do that. Instead, let's go fight wars in other countries. And so they started Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan. Thank you, Uman. Afghanistan, well, with America, the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, right? We've had all these conflicts. Oh, there's a shit pile of conflicts in Africa, folks. How do you think France got into Niger to control their natural resources? You think they were there because they're nice guys? No, the fucking French are some of the most ruthless, murderous assholes on the planet. But we all think that they just like to drink wine. Oh, no, they're ruthless fucking killers. Go ask everyone in French Guiana. In fact, the French started the Vietnam War. They colonized Vietnamese, right? So they colonized these countries, took away their raw materials. Wars were started and fought. Well, it gets really fucking expensive, right? If you spend, let's just say, like America did, $5 trillion fighting in Afghanistan for 20 years, what did we get out of it? How wealthy did the wealthy get? How powerful did the powerful get from that? Seems kind of like a push in a way. Well, yeah, the government spent your and my money, 5 trillion of it, fighting that, not to mention the priceless lives of Americans fighting, and other countries as well. Right? That's the old system. I'm going to fight a war to take your shit to make me more rich and powerful. But you got to go into these fucked up countries like Vietnam or Afghanistan or Niger or Congo or Sierra Leone or South Africa, whatever the country is, you've got to build the infrastructure, right? You've got to make everything accessible to get this money, to get this power, to scare other countries so they obey you. It's expensive. So China and Russia right now, and this is what I agree with, is instead of going in and fighting a war and spending a ton of fucking money and then trying to rebuild the country after that to try and get the natural resources out, why not just go in at the front and say, let's make a deal. We'll pay for all this shit and we get to benefit from the resources, right? We don't bother destroying the fucking country before we rebuild it. Well, in my opinion, the United States and the European Union, the World Economic Forum, the EU, they don't seem to get that yet. They think you have to go in and fight a fucking war and piss everyone off before you win it. Anyways, you do. You push a weak link over. Thank you, C. And then you try and intimidate. This is what I see in Venezuela. It's what I see in Venezuela. You try and intimidate them and other countries so they fall into line with your system. Except the old system is just go in and rape the fucking land and get whatever natural resource out is easiest and just shit on the country. It's a weird fucking world, folks. It really is. And by the way, it is not, I repeat, about freeing the people. Kind of like we need to give liberty to the people of Iraq. And then we need to give liberty to the people of Afghanistan. Those people in their own countries didn't want liberty any more than when we brought the people from those countries into our country and Europe, and they don't want a thing to do with freedom. All they want is Aloha snack bar, rape little girls, and kill fucking people with a machete or pushing them in front of a bus. They cannot be civilized. They are third world fucking retards with IQs below 80. In other words, they are all naturally retarded with respect to Western civilization or Eastern civilization, if you want to talk about China and Japan. Very advanced cultures, intelligent cultures. You go into the Middle East, with the exception of certain big metropolises run by very rich sheikhs, you're going to find shithole countries like Yemen and Somalia. You go into Africa, right? They're run by fucking military juntas, right? Juntas, if you want to call them that. However, right? Gigantes, fucking warlords. Same with South America. It's just full of problems. But we are right now, and I know I've spent a lot of time on this, but it's an important topic, and I want to thank Darcy T for the great super chat. It's about natural resources. Tech is going to do tech. Who gives a shit? Right? It's good. Right? Tech is tech. If they invent better high tech, as in AI, we'll just take their chips and steal the ideas. We do something cool with our chips, they steal our chips and take the idea. That's done, right? But if you don't have the raw materials, the industrialization in your country, you're going to be impoverished. And that's what I think we're fighting. And you and I, my friends, we have to get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, having a plan, seeing the world around you so that you know if shit goes wonky, haywire, I almost said honky, which is haywire and wonky all in one. Things go haywire wonky, guess what? No one is going to be on your side except you and the people in your neighborhood, your family, your friends, your prepper group. Only you guys are going to be able to take care of you. All right. Mr. Uman, where are we going to go next? We started out with that. Who's up? Who wants to talk? Who's got something to say? And it's Nancy Keg checking in with a $20 super chat donation. Thank you. And she says, just use this towards your choice of topic tonight and Semper Fi. To the great Prepared Mind family members out there, Nancy Keg, you're awesome. Thank you so much for all you do. And I tell you what, I've got just a series of questions that I'd like to ask in honor of your $20 super chat. And it is, what have we learned? What have we learned about our own government? Fauci and AIDS, COVID and mRNA. Was it good, bad, wrong, evil, fucking lies, violations of our rights? How many people have been arrested? 0. The Biden family has offshore bank accounts, well over 100. They were implicated by their own emails with business dealings in China that were illegal. We have Joe Biden admitting on stage, in public, recorded in video, that he withheld money from Ukraine unless they let his son go. Is that bribery or extortion, or is it both? Right? And how many Bidens have gone to jail? None. Epstein clients are CIA assets. What have we learned? Our government keeps pedophiles on the payroll. Our government uses pedophiles to catch politicians and businessmen acting as pedophiles so they can control them. Where's the arrests? Why isn't this exposed? Why is there not just fucking huge outrage in government? Because all of government is in on it. In other words, our government is completely fucking evil. mRNA shots kill kids. They killed children during the testing phase. Well, look, before that, they were killing animals. Prior to the human testing, they said, fuck it, let's stop killing animals. Why not test on kids then? And they did. And then they hid the information. They lied to us. These people are fucking evil. Arrests, 0. Fauci? Fauci has an auto pen. I believe he's got an auto pen pardon. I think all of the January 6th committee does also. Trump said any auto pen was not Joe Biden, therefore null and void, no good. Those pardons are worthless. How many arrests? 0. 0. Government spending? Fraud everywhere. Nationally, internationally, going to non-government organizations, individuals, corporations, nations. You said fraud. War financing fraud in Ukraine. Now they're claiming, it was only $100 billion. Really, $100 billion? That's it? Now people are screaming and yelling. They want Zelensky's head. They want everything. They want an accounting. Oh, really? Like they give a fuck. They're going to run away with as much as they can get away with. Arrests? None. For this spending fraud internationally, financing homosexuality, drag queen shows, transgenderism, education in these topics. Nope, everyone's fine. I mean, Elon Musk came out with Department of Government Efficiency and said, we found trillions of dollars in fraud. Trillions. He said, there's going to be huge arrests. There were none. None. Elon Musk was so disgusted, he quit the whole fucking show. I don't blame him. Because it was all bullshit. How about politicians out there interfering with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol? The deportation of illegals is being interfered with by our highest government officials, our lowest government officials, judges, teachers, politicians, professors, universities at large, fucking corporations, hiring illegals. How many arrests? None. Election fraud, interference by American and anti-American nations. How many arrests? I mean, that fucking bitch down in Arizona, Hobbs. How many more crimes have to be exposed? No arrest of that bitch. Days and days and days of criminality and 0 arrests of important and powerful people. 0. I just wanted to point out, what else have you learned about crime in government, out of government, in our country, out of our country? And what do we have? We have Dan Vagina doing nothing. Turns out, or at least it's alleged now, that he was brought onto Trump's team to bury the Epstein documents, not expose them. Kash Patel, he's there to protect Israel and his alleged honeypot of a girlfriend who is way too young and way too hot for a bug-eyed freak like that guy. Who else have we got? Trump took over $250 million from AIPAC. AIPAC. I always call it the American Israel Political Action Committee. I know it's got another name, but it's just what it is. It is a PAC, a Political Action Committee. It is designed to grab money from all kinds of sources and funnel it to where it is most useful. And everyone in AIPAC is 100% Israel first. Now, where's the arrest? Pam Bondi, who the fuck is she? She has arrested nobody of significance. In fact, she should have arrested James Comey. Instead, they put out a summons. There's a big fucking whoops. She assigns James Comey's daughter to prosecute P. Diddy. What the fuck? So you have a pedophile defendant being protected by the daughter of a man who protected fucking pedophiles. We're talking Clintons, who are on Epstein's list, Epstein's island, Epstein's fucking plane, as well as everyone else associated with him. He protected them all. So we're going to have one of them prosecute one of them. P. Diddy should be buried under 100 miles of just fucking calendars dropped on his head. Instead, he's got a date he's going to get out. I'm sure they'll find a reason to pardon him. And I don't want to let Trump off the hook here. I want to remind everyone, there is so much going on. So much going on. I can't keep up with all of it and remember every fucking thing that's been done and everyone who should be arrested and everyone who should be on the fucking news in the front taking shit for all the shit they've done. Trump said of Jizzy Maxwell, who is in jail for a hoax because of her partner, a hoax, Jeffrey Epstein. And the hoax was drug trafficking children for sex. And she has not only been arrested, but convicted and in prison. He says, I wish her well. Why would the president of the United States wish a convicted pedophile and child sex trafficker, why would he wish her well? Why? Why? If he wanted to do that, I'm sure he could have written on a little piece of paper, I wish you well, Jizzy, and put it in a really small fucking envelope, and then have one of his people go visit her quietly and give her that. And she'd go, ooh, I wish you well. Signed, Donald J. Trump. Thank you. No, it's on the fucking news. It's on the media. It's in all of our ear. And everyone's like, la, 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 Trump would have never done it. No, he wished a fucking pedophile, child sex trafficker well. That is wrong, my friends. I'm a Republican. I am a patriot. I am a fucking vet. I'm an American. I'm an America first and only type of guy. That's it. And I'm not going to just let him fucking slide because he's got an R in front of his name. He does all kinds of shit wrong. And I said from the very fucking beginning, Trump needs to fucking act like an American and stop playing these fucking games. And if he does fuck up, I'm going to criticize him. If he does something right, I'm going to give him credit. But here we are. Anyways, these topics are great. We're going to go, folks, there's some incredible explosive shit going on in the stock market. It's going to open, I think, in another half hour or 45, whatever it opens. It's fucking zoo out there, folks. Zoo. The largest exchange computer system in the world went down on Friday. For no fucking reason. It went down other than to cover for banks. To protect banks. Because the rich people are about to lose their ass for cheating in the gold and silver and commodities markets. They're getting called to the carpet, in other words. All right, Mr. Uman, let's do some more super chats. Who else is out there? What have we got? Oh, it's already opened. And silver is at $57.26 and rising. On Friday, it shot up over $3 fucking bucks. 6.67%. Huge increase. It closed at 57.14. And Uman sends me a message like 45 minutes later. He goes, you see what they did? They knocked like 70 cents off the fucking number after the market closed when nobody else could trade. They fucking artificially knocked it down trying to save the banks some money because the banks are betting short, meaning they're betting it's going to go down. Meanwhile, the world seems to be running out of available silver for industrial and military purposes. You can't have a controlled low price and I mean no fucking inventory. And then another fucking user out there said that a large sovereign entity, which means China, this is alleged, it is not fact, but a large sovereign entity stood for delivery, meaning they didn't want to trade paper for profits. They wanted the metal in their country. They wanted 400 million ounces of silver. That's half a year's production for the whole globe, the planet, the world. There isn't that much in physical form available for sale. So that crashed the fucking market. They shut it down and then they opened it up. But here we are. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Uman. I really appreciate that. It is going to get exciting as fuck, folks, as we threaten war, as we see financial collapse, as markets fucking tumble, as shit hits the fan. Meanwhile, you got Jihad Joe and his fucking retarded buddies out there calling for your head. These fucking guys. Aloha snack bar. They don't like us. And they're in our country. They're in Europe. They're everywhere. They've been brought over. They are inbred. They have very low IQs. And they've been indoctrinated into a political system that couches a political ideology of domination under the umbrella of a bullshit religion. They call it the religion of peace, when all they do is look for ways to kill people. Middle Eastern religions are bullshit. Silver just jumped to $57.84. That's about a 50 fucking cent rise from where you just told me a minute ago. All right, don't. Anyways, that means it's crazy world, folks. Let's have some more fun with your super chats out there. Ooh, man, it is Bob Hunter from the great nation of Scotland. That's right, folks. Home of Braveheart, William Wallace. Who, what did he want? He wanted to fight for liberty, for freedom from the English. Not just because they're English, because King Edward the Longshanks was a fucking dickhead. And just about every king after it. In fact, speaking of shitty-ass kings, King Charles has now allowed inside, is it Buckingham Palace even? A couple of places, the call to prayer for Muslim services. No, 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 no. You don't do that in the... I mean, one of the names, and I'll get to you, Bob, don't worry. One of the names, one of the acronyms, one of the monikers for the King of England is Protector of the Faith. You're following me? Protector of the Faith. Where did that term come from? It came from the fucking Crusades, is my understanding. It came from the Crusades. When the Christians of Europe and England marched, made pilgrimage all the way to the Holy Land to fight the Saracens, a.k.a. Muslims, and win the Holy Land. In any event, let's continue. Bob Hunter says, I would love your thoughts, John, on Edith Cavell, who lived from 1865 to 1915. On the eve of her execution in the Times, 23rd October 1915, here's the quote, patriotism is not enough. I must have no hatred or bitterness towards anyone. I can't speak, Bob, in great depth about Edith Cavell and her life and belief system, but I can speak to the quotation itself. Patriotism is not enough. I must have no hatred or bitterness towards anyone. That is to me. I can only give you my opinion and how that quote affects me and how I've thought about it in the past when I've heard it. Patriotism is not enough. So when we discuss patriotism is about a country. Okay, patriotism is about a country. When you say, I must have no hatred or bitterness towards anyone, that is not about a secular belief system. Now we move over to a philosophical or religious belief system. So she says patriotism is not enough, meaning I have to, this is to me, this is my thoughts. Patriotism is not enough. I can't just be a fucking Marine and a hardcore bastard, and that's it's not enough to get me what I need as a human, right? The Maslowian pyramid, hierarchical pyramid, where at the top you have enlightenment and self-actualization, right? Satisfaction with my life, etc. Patriotism is not enough, right? To fight, risk all, die, win for country and flag. No, for self-actualization, the pinnacle of human existence, you have to have peace in your heart and everything else. And this is a tough one, man. I think this is why this quote is so famous. I must have no hatred or bitterness towards anyone. And I've always kind of admired and also resented Catholics. And these are the ones I've known personally where they're like, I forgive you for being an asshole. And they forgive their enemies. And I'm like, it's not my fucking job to forgive. It's not my job to forgive my enemy. Those who want to hurt, kill, steal, maim, destroy, thieve, hurt women, hurt children, hurt men, hurt business, hurt countries, hurt vast swaths of people, right? In my opinion, it's not my job to forgive them. That's up to them to seek forgiveness for themselves. But I think this is this idea, and again, it's just the way I think about it, is do I want to die with a bunch of hatred and bitterness against the whole world? Well, no. Of course I don't want to die with all that inside me. If anyone has ever understood the philosophical idea, or you could even say religious, there's a concept where when you die, your heart is weighed on a scale against a feather. And if your heart is heavier than the feather, then you haven't lived a really good life, right? Because you got, your heart is heavy with life. And if you've managed to forgive and forget and live well and yada, 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 help people, then your heart's going to be lighter. I like that idea. Now, when I was younger, obviously young men were full of piss and vinegar, testosterone. We want to fist fight and fuck all the time. And we're full of hatred and bitterness towards, well, not just the enemy, but anyone that opposes us. And as I've gotten older, I've said, hey, look, actually, I want fucking peace. I want peace. But I can't have peace if there's an enemy at the gate, at the door, and then in my face with a sword or gun, if you will. Patriotism is not enough for me. I want no hatred. I want no bitterness towards anyone. But the world has demonstrated it's full of enemies that are going to come after. They're going to come after innocence. Right? It's going to come after wealth and power. Right? That's what this evil wants out here. Now, if it just wanted the wealth and the power, that's fine, but it hurts people at the same time. It uses that power not to help, but to hinder. It uses its power to take innocence and keep taking it. So who is going to defend the innocent, the weak? Right? Now, can I be like a good Catholic and go out there and I can put a sword through my enemy's heart and then, give them a blessing and say, God be with you as they fucking, die? I don't know. I guess if I have time, maybe. But it's not up to me to forgive them. Do I need to have hatred and bitterness towards them as I, execute them for trying to execute me? It's all very personal. It is. But for Edith Cavell, a woman, this is a big deal, a woman living in the 1800s to the early 1900s. A woman at that time is going to have a completely different perspective than a woman living today or a man living back then. Not that women couldn't be great philosophers, and this one is incredible. This quote. But I cannot listen to someone who lived during the strength, the greatness of Europe's existence, right? When Europe was the pinnacle of the world, before that was kind of passed off to America, where it shares it with Europe, right? Western civilization, the Western Empire, if you will, right? It's a whole different world then to have that kind of attitude. Now we have an attitude where the cockroaches and maggots have crawled out of their countries and are now trying to consume us. Patriotism is not enough, right? I need to be not hateless and bitter, hatred and bitterness. I don't have to have that to extinguish parasites and to rid us, folks, of disease and pestilence coming from other countries. I don't have to have hatred or bitterness. I just need to know it needs to be done and for the right reasons. Right? I live by the golden rule, Bob. Do unto others as I would have them do unto me. If I was attacking somebody with a hatchet or trying to rape somebody's daughter, I would expect them to kill me. I would expect that is my reward. So why should they expect to be treated differently? Whoa, I'm sorry. This came up in Italy. In a trial, the fucking attorney said, we can't expect an African immigrant to not understand and not know that they're not supposed to rape people on the beach in Italy. What? Literally, just this weekend that came out. I don't have to have hatred or bitterness to know that is a parasite. That is a disease, mind-addled fool trying to take innocence, life, and power out of someone else's life. They deserve nothing less than to be put out of their own misery because they have a belief system that says it's okay to destroy and hurt and kill others. Anyways, Bob, great topic. I love philosophy. I love trying to apply it, see it from whence it came and where we're at now. So Bob is back with another one, another 10-pound super chat coming from Bob Hunter. He says, Edith Cavell's last words were, ask Father Grand to tell my loved ones later on that my soul, as I believe, is safe and that I am glad to die for my country. This is another patriotic expression. Edith Cavell's last words were, ask Father Grand. That must be a church father. I guess Edith was, I don't know. I don't know what denomination, but a Christian of some sort. Tell my loved ones later on that my soul, as I believe, is safe and that I'm glad to die for my country. Edith says she was glad to die for her country. Patriotism is one's willingness to take whatever steps are necessary for one's country. So again, I don't know. I'm going to just tell you, I don't know jack shit about Edith. I just know that former or prior quote. But if she says she's glad to die for her country, I'm good with that as a concept. In fact, when I was a Marine, I was asked, are you willing to die for your country? I said, yes. And I got my ass kicked. I was told that is incorrect. You are not, as a United States Marine, allowed to die without permission. I was also told that you don't die for your country. You make that other dumb bastard die for his country. Which were also the words of General Patton. Right. So yeah, if need be, I die protecting all that is important to me, especially my countrymen, my children, my family, my line, my nation, my republic. Because without my republic, I am nothing. My soul, something else. I'll just set that on the shelf over there, right? Edith says, my soul, as I believe, is safe. My soul is fine, right? When it comes to my country and what's going on this planet, you bet your ass. Okay. Anyways, Bob, great fucking topics, man. I appreciate it. And now we're going to do a super chat donation coming from none other than Chin Music, doing a $52.23 super chat donation just in time because I'm getting damn thirsty. Glenlivet, you got it. 18-year single malt scotch, you got it. And like I was saying, not a moment too late. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chin. Boy, I tell you what. Those Bob Hunter questions were great. I can't wait to see what Chin Music has got. Are we putting it on the screen? There it is. Uman puts Chin Music's comments down. He says, it's getting really tiring watching these fucking Democrats steer us towards a civil war simply because we didn't vote for them. They lose at the ballot box, and we are supposed to suffer? When will people stop watching sports and fight back? Elisa Slotkin, who is a CIA pile of shit stooge Democrat in Congress, said the National Guard would shoot Americans in the street, and days later, 2 Guard members get shot. Media and Democrats blame Trump for putting them on the streets, for putting National Guardsmen on the streets. It's Trump's fault that a CIA mercenary brought from Afghanistan into America decided to lose his shit and kill 2 National Guardsmen because politicians called Slotkin and others, that fucking piece of shit Mark Kelly in Arizona, senator, told everyone, disobey orders, disobey the president. It's unconstitutional to have National Guardsmen out there. They're killing illegals. They're killing migrants. That's what they told them. And they got away with this shit. Man, I don't know how much more of this bullshit I can take. But the Longhorns won, so all is good, right? What the actual fuck, Chin Music? I tell you what, wake the fuck up is what WTFU is, but what the actual fuck is another good one. Okay, let's go back to number 1, if we shall, Mr. Uman. I mean, here's the deal. The Democrats are pushing us to a civil war, but it's not the Democrats. Democrats are just the useful idiots who are willing to sell themselves out and wanting to destroy America. Who is pulling their chain? Who is pushing this shit? Mark Kelly, right? The fucking bitch Slotkin, the seditious 6. They came out and they're the ones that pushed this. They started a color revolution. Actually, it's been going for some time. They have been undermining the president, undermining him. Okay, they just have. Where do I go here? This is how I wanted to address this. The CIA color revolution is moving to the next phase, Chin. It's moving to the next phase. What you're describing is one of the earlier phases. Now we're moving to the next phase. Follow me here. Remember Jim Acosta, who the former CNN host, complete anti-American, complete fucking sack of shit communist. He is now calling for the media to take a, quote, collective action against Trump. So what is a color revolution? It is a communist-styled revolt to overthrow a government and install a new puppet government to operate under a new constitution or a new set of rules. So number 1, the media, mainstream media, and politicians began to accuse Trump of being Hitler to the people. They started that shit in 2016 through 2020. They pushed it all the way through Biden's presidency. And now that Trump is president again, they're continuing to push this, right? Accusing Trump of being a Nazi, a white supremacist, Hitler. Not that I love all of Trump's shit, but for fuck's sake, he's not what they're saying he is. In fact, he's not Republican enough, in my opinion. He's not hard enough on crime. He's not hard enough on these fucking commies. He's not hard enough. But that's what they did. That's what they did. They accuse him of that to undermine and discredit the president of the United States. The next phase was the media and politicians discredit Trump to destroy loyalty in the military all they can. So first they say, yeah, right? They've been fucking with the military, turning it into a homosexual, transgender fucking social experiment. Destroy the military, bring in communists, get rid of Republicans, which Obama did, and bring in a bunch of communist fucking officers into the Pentagon. Okay, they did political tests for officers and got rid of the good ones, all they could. Right now, well, Hegseth, Secretary of War Hegseth is in there. He's been cleaning this shit out. So they're fucking pissed about it. They are pissed about it, Chin. They need to sow discontent and problems with loyalty into the military. Right? So how do they do that now? Whoa, the military, you're being used by Trump. You're being used to round up people and kill people. They're dropping illegals out of helicopters and planes over the ocean. Remember that shit? These are fucking incredible fucking lies. The media should have their broadcast license re-fucking-voked. You want to talk, you come on YouTube and other social media like the rest of us, and you battle it out to try and get people to watch your shit. And no one will, because you guys are fucking communists. But we here, we're good. In fact, we need to address how many communists are there in this country. How many people are actually pro-anti-America? That's a weird one, huh? Now, let me keep going with this concept. How do you bring down a country? How do you destroy a country? And Chinmay says, I'm really getting tired of watching these fucking Democrats steer us to a civil war. That's exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing. They're steering us into a fucking war. They need to destroy loyalty to the president. And they're saying, see, these National Guardsmen were killed by Trump because he put them on the streets unnecessarily, and now we have people killing him. Do you think for a second any red-blooded, testosterone-driven, fucking military man, you don't have to be just a Marine. You can be just a fucking regular, old, ass-kicking American. Okay? You can tell my prejudice is towards the Marines. Right? And tell him some fucking illegal is going to kill him on the street if Trump puts him out there. He's going to be like, give me a fucking loaded magazine. I'll take these motherfuckers on. Right? But they want to sow discord. And that is a crime, folks. It's a fucking crime to do anything publicly with the intent to sow discord and disunity and disloyalty in the military. Now, me, I'm nobody. But politicians and the media, that's a different story. It's an absolutely different story because they're using their power and their reach to do this influence. Let me continue, if I shall. So, after you get the military as questionable as you can, you call for physical revolt in the streets against our legitimate government. There you have it. We now have people committing acts of violence against law enforcement, ICE, DHS, right? Border Patrol. They're killing fucking cops. And now they're killing National Guardsmen, which is a domestic military force, usually brought out for purposes of, well, peacekeeping and patrolling cities during times of national emergency. They're not out there fighting fucking people with guns. They're not the fucking army. They're not the special forces. They're not the Marines. Right? They're National Guardsmen on the street trying to keep law and order in line. That's it. Right? But these Democrats are steering us towards that, whether they want or not. And see, that's the killer thing. If Trump wasn't president, if Kamala Harris was, what would they do? Remember who hated Joe Biden and fucking hated Kamala Harris? Who? The terrorist organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah, the pro-Palestinians. They were blaming Joe Biden and his administration for all of the death and destruction in Palestine. Remember, all that started before Trump was president again. They would hate Kamala Harris probably as much or more than Trump because she's a woman and infidel. And those Muslims do not like infidel women with power over them. They wouldn't have loved her any more than Trump. They would have pushed for this civil war the same way. And it's not really the Democrats calling for it. It's their masters. They are getting paid to do this, and they're getting paid very well. I have a big fucking problem with this move, just like you do, Chin. Probably all of you, and I want to cover it. I really do. I'm going to continue though, right? After you call for physical revolt, and it starts in the streets, its objective is to get rid of legitimate government. Remember last week, those fucking idiot Muslims, about what, 2 or 3 dozen of them, said, we're going to go to the White House and we're going to take over, as if taking the White House, if they could, which they can't. I mean, they have fucking miniguns on the roof that'll pop up like a fucking prize at a fucking show. Whoop, boing, brrr, they'll fucking gun them down. Okay, I think they have fucking phalanx systems on the roof. Aircraft can't get close. I mean, just what do I know? Right? What do I fucking know? But they would plan that, the Civil War. And as soon as, right, if they said, hey, look, Trump has failed. These ridiculous Muslims have taken over the White House. Right? Our country, we need martial law. We need to bring in a legitimate government that can handle all this, that'll unite the military, blah, 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 blah. And now we have a new authoritarian government in place that says the Constitution is suspended. We've got to bring control. But guess what? Their control would be to arrest all patriots and all dissenters. It's exactly what happened in communist Russia. When they had their color revolution, they fought against the military. They fought against the legitimate government. They finally got enough support in the military to push it through. And then they arrested the patriots, those that loved, the Russian Empire, and they wanted their communist Soviet-styled shit. So they killed the patriots. They killed the dissenters. They took over the farms. They starved anywhere between 30 and 40 million Christians to death. And I say Christians because, well, they didn't like Christians. Communists do not like God. They don't like religion. The state is their religion. The state is their God. Now, let's go to page 2 on Chin here real quick. We're at the 1 hour mark, folks. 367 people. Share the internet address wherever you're at. Share it. Share it with friends, family, coworkers, people you hate. Fuck them. Send it to them anyways. So the question you part about, when are people going to stop watching sports and fight back? Well, when the football game is attacked by terrorists and people on the field are laying there in a pool of blood, maybe people will stop wanting to play football, go watch football, or give a fuck about it because they realize we got problems bigger than whether or not the Texas Longhorns won. Right. Yeah, Alyssa Slotkin. I think I know what her ethnicity is. Right, yeah. When you are trying to do something rotten, shitty, and evil, like these communist anti-Americans are, you always blame someone else. No matter what happens, you always blame the guy you don't like. It is transparent. It is sophomoric. It is fucking retarded. It's easy to see through. Yet, we've talked about this a lot. The problem is the voters believe it. I don't care where you're at in the country. There are not, in a country of 300 million voting Americans, there are not 150 million Democrats. There aren't that will vote for this shit. So they cheat in elections and they vote. But no matter where you're at, whether it's 4 or 3 or 5 out of 10 people that vote Democrat, that's people around us. These people will believe anything. They will vote for anything as long as it's got a D in front of it, as long as they're told that's what they should do. They are mindless, low IQ, non-intellectual, non-philosophical, unintelligent, no fucking education in political science or fucking history. Wait a minute, that sounds like the whole education system, doesn't it? The more you know, right, NBC? The more you know, the more you realize, the more you think. And you realize what is happening is it's not just a travesty of justice. It's an outright abomination against humanity. These people are trying to kill this country. And the media wants to blame Trump. Fuck, Trump isn't doing enough. Trump should be fucking mass deporting. And I love, this is great. Everyone, have you all heard about this? You heard about? Have you heard about the bar in Idaho? Liberals are fuming, losing their fucking minds, because in Idaho, a bar there is offering free beer for a month to anyone who helps ICE identify and deport illegal aliens. God bless the owners and managers of this is what the bar's name is, the Old State Saloon. It's in Eagle, Idaho. Right? And the Democrats are losing their mind because, well, they're talking about fighting back. Turn these motherfuckers in. You know what's next? When you and me and us, we start doing that, not for free beer, folks, but it's a call to patriotism. Just like Sam Adams beer. Sam Adams was a fucking founding father, a patriot, a philosopher, a fucking statesman, an all-American fucking colonialist who fought the king. And then he made great beer, right? So Old State Saloon, well, the fucking Marine Corps started in Ton Tavern, my friends. Another bar. Right? Democrats love threatening death to all of us. But, we want to reward patriotic action with beer. And, whoa, hey, that's going too far, man. You're giving out beer, and that's enough to help someone be patriotic? But these people, they have to give away hundreds of thousands of dollars to every illegal to try and keep them on their side and then threaten them. I don't know. Well, what's next, man? Maybe brothels in Nevada will give out free BJs for helping get illegals out of Nevada. And maybe, just maybe, Gavin Newsom, Governor Pritzker, and the Democrat governors everywhere can offer drugs and needles to the illegals for staying in those states and leaving the rest of us alone. It's a fucking shit show of a joke. But it's not a joke. This is really going on. I'm sure this bar is going to give free beer to anyone who fucking gets these illegals out of there. We're going to end up in a fight for our life. And it's going to involve religion, it's going to involve beer, it's going to involve patriotism, it's going to involve philosophy, it's going to involve fucking everyone shouting Aloha Snack Bar, it's going to be religious fools against philosophical giants, and people with the strongest minds and bodies defeating evil and stupidity. And you know what? We used to talk about China invading us. China doesn't have to invade us at all. What the fuck did Chinese drink? I know Japanese drink sake. I was going to say they just have to sit back and drink sake, but they don't. Anyways, these have been great fucking topics, and I've been talking for over an hour, and we've had 3 super chats on the board, or 3 different people. Anyways, we've got more to talk about. Let's do it, Mr. Uman. Let's get into it. Who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? It's Bob Hunter, back with a 5-pound note again. He says, I love you, John, man. Bob, I love you too, brother. I wish I could get over there and go tour the distilleries, especially my 2 favorites, Glenfiddich and the Glenlivet. But I'd love to go to Lafrogue. I'd love to go to the Macallan. I'd love to go to Glenfarclas. There's just so many good people in the UK. Anyways, Bob, he says, I can't thank you enough, brother, and my cat loves you too. If you would, Bob, remind me of your cat's name. It's a nice-looking calico you got there. Anyways, thank you, Bob. Uman, who's next? We've got Blue Cord Devil. Oh, with a $50 super chat and a $50 super chat. Keeps the old brain lubricated with, well, this 18-year Glenfiddich Scotch. Single malt, and they call it small batch, and it is just absolutely delicious. Blue Cord Devil, here's to you, brother. Thank you. Here's to all of you who love the red, white, and blue, the concepts of freedom and liberty, which have been fought for in the Americas, in England, in Scotland, in Ireland, in Wales, in Europe, everywhere around the world, always fighting for freedom. Here's to all of you, all of those with the fire of freedom in your souls. Nice. So Blue Cord says, saw a guy from the UK arrested for pictures of him shooting guns in Florida. He had posted them, some of them on social media. Final charge was disturbing the peace. Thoughts? Oh, I have my thoughts. The man was not threatening anyone. He wasn't proclaiming white supremacy or British supremacy or any supremacy. Basically, he went to Florida, shot some guns, and I guess was excited. and he was arrested. I think charges have been dropped. What's interesting is a member of government over in the UK was photographed holding an AK-47. This guy has not been arrested, and he is a member of the government. That's right. One of these Aloha snack bar types grabbed an AK-47, took a picture, posted it on social media. He is an elected official in some shithole of a British or UK township. He refuses to resign for his offense against people. Yeah, it's rules for thee and not for me. They have selected who is going to run England, and it is going to be the Muslims. They're trying to push that in Canada. They don't know whether it's going to be Muslims or fucking Indians. In America, they're doing the exact same thing. Pushing what? Pushing Muslims, pushing Indians. Europe and the mainland there, the continent, same thing. My thoughts, these fucking people are out of their minds. The one thing America has, right? Now, in England, back in the 1990s, they gave up their guns. 25 years later, you're getting arrested over free speech violations. Posting a picture of yourself on vacation, you're arrested. Tell me George Orwell isn't rolling over in his fucking grave, the man who wrote 1984. He's like, I fucking warned you people. America, our guns are sacred. Nowhere in the Holy Bible do they talk about guns. Somehow it's still sacred to us, isn't it? Because we know that is the tool that we have to protect ourselves from evil. Well, that's my thoughts, Blue Cord Devil. Fuck the British government, because the British government is no longer British. The UK government doesn't give a fuck about the Scots or the Irish or the Welsh. They don't care about the Londoners or the fucking Liverpudlings. They couldn't give a shit. It's fuck everyone, hand it over to a bunch of third world, backwards ass, retarded, inbred motherfuckers. Do you want that for America? Are you prepared to fight as patriots? And will your heart be full of hatred? Or will you know what you're doing is for just and honorable and for love of country and your fellow man by eradicating and removing evil? You don't have to coexist with evil. You don't have to participate in evil rituals in order to live. You don't have to give in and bend the knee and kiss the ass and shine the fucking shoe of evil. In fact, that fills the heart with hatred. Whereas liberating yourself from evil fills you with love and goodness because you've done good. Oh, I can make that fucking argument all day long. Thank you, brother. Bam! $50 super chat. Thank you, Blue Cord. Uman, where are we rolling next? I know we got a lot of great topics. And we got Big Dan the Man with a $5 super chat. And he says, haven't seen 46 in a while. That means Joe Biden. Hopefully Jill, Dr. Jill, has a Oval Office set up in the resting home for him, and he can still be the president in La La Land. Now that, my friend, is fucking hilarious. Joe probably still thinks he's president. Or maybe he still thinks he's vice president. And Obama is the president. Right? They had him in the White House. They had him on fake Oval Office sets. Literally, a set designed to look like the Oval Office for the purpose of taking pictures and shooting video. And right, it's crazy. Yeah, this guy has no idea where he's at anyways. Yeah, that's pretty funny. 46. 46 is lost. You know, it has become more and more evident, though, that Obama is not, was not, could not, and never should have been anywhere near the White House because he's a fucking Kenyan. He's a Kenyan. He's not an American. He was unlawfully, illegally, treasonously put on the ballots and allowed to become the president of the United States, and they fucking lied about it. There's your CIA, there's your FBI, there's your Democrats and your Republican enablers who didn't fucking stop him from becoming president in 2008 by allowing a non-American, a Muslim communist piece of shit run for the presidency, cheat in the election, put him into office, and allow him to destroy this country by giving us fundamental change. Well, he fundamentally changed everything. It was just that next step in destroying the last bastion of freedom on this fucking planet. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dan. Appreciate that. Ooh, man, who is next? We're at an hour and 15. Where's the time go? And it's Viking Boomer with a $20 super chat donation. And he says, speaking about boats, activist Danny Tomo over in England is now recruiting just Englishmen to storm the beaches of France to stop the boats. This operation is starting soon. Overlord 2.0. I fucking love it. It's already started, by the way. I don't know who else is taking credit for Boomer. I don't know. But what I do know is there are men, and God bless them if they're Englishmen, for going over to Normandy. I know it's called France, but there used to be a nation called Normandy. And those are the beaches of Normandy. And they are already going over there. They're destroying engines on these fucking boats. They're popping these boats because they're inflatable rafts. They're very large rafts. They can put 50 pieces of shit from third world Muslim shitholes in these boats, take them across the channel. Folks, the channel is not that wide. This is the English channel, the channel between France, Normandy, and on the other side, England. You got your cliffs of Dover over there. They're stopping it. And these fucking foreign scumbags are losing their fucking minds. Hey, you want to fucking fight? These guys here, right? They're recruiting Englishmen. Fuck it. If the government won't stop them on the English shores and turn them around. No, in fact, I think what fucking Navy was escorting them across the English Channel? Was it the fucking French Navy? The French are facilitating a fucking invasion of England using a militarized, weaponized, retarded force called the Muslims. England should be calling France on the phone going, one more boat, motherfuckers, and it's on. We'll bomb the fucking tunnel shut on the channel. Fuck you. But they're not. Why not? Because they're both complicit in playing the same fucking game. Destroy France, destroy England, destroy France, destroy the whole UK, destroy France, destroy everything in the world. And they're fucking happy. So the people, sounds like Danny Tomo here, has decided he's going to do what? Form a militia, protect his country, fight like patriots, even if it means taking over to the other side. Don't let them get to England and fight them in England. Stop them before they fucking even leave for England. Brilliant. Now, I'm not encouraging illegality or unlawfulness, but the British government is, so fuck you, Brits. Same with the French. Fuck you, Macron. You two countries, the leadership there, the military, following orders of the completely fucking unlawfully illegal, unpatriotic, treasonous fucking governments of England and France are at war with the people and their constitutional rights. England does not have a constitution the way we do in America. They have a set of laws called the common law that was established hundreds of years before America to define the rights of men as individuals, their place within the nation and under common law. It's so fucking simple. Don't steal my shit, I don't steal yours. You do something wrong, you pay for it. You go to jail. They're fucking throwing that all out the window and just letting their countries be destroyed. For what? For what purpose? To what end? I know what it is. These people that think they're in charge of these countries think and believe that after they destroy England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, destroy France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Germany, Australia, you get the fucking picture, all of Europe, destroy Canada, America, destroy Mexico. After they destroyed those countries, they'll still be in charge under a new governmental system that doesn't allow free speech or a Second Amendment, no guns, doesn't allow you to object or vote. They're just going to fucking dictate to you how to live your life, what your job is, how they're going to fuck your daughters and your wives, whether you like it or not, take you as a fucking slave, kill you if they must, set an example. You're nothing to them but a piece of fucking meat that they can either throw in a grinder or a wood chipper, eat for dinner, or have sex with like they do to prisoners in an Israeli prison. I have no love for any of these fucking people. I love people of a country that are good. I don't love government. I love the people of a country that are good. All right, let us continue. Thank you, Boomer. Viking 670, that is. Okay, Mr. Uman. I know I've been on my horse here. What are we going to talk about next? And I hope everybody appreciates the variety of opinions and thoughts down in the comment section. Northern Pike with a $5 super chat. Super chat button right up there. I'll make you famous. He says, makes better sense leading drug cartel, big pharma in the FDA. Little translation I need to do here. I don't know how to address this, but I'll just in one general way. Would you rather have the nation whacked out on drugs from the drug cartels in Mexico, Central and South America? Or would you rather have people whacked out on drugs and being controlled mentally by Big Pharmacy and the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA? Either way, it's about controlling us with drugs, is it not? That's kind of how I see this. They're fighting for control of us. Well, you got FDA and Big Pharmacy, you got drug cartel. Well, what about the fucking food industry that's trying to fucking feed us poisons? They're trying to control us. They're trying to poison us and make us sick. See, drugs fuck us up and make us sick. Illegal drugs fuck us up and make us sick. Poisonous food fucks us up and makes us sick. Shit they spray in the air fucks us up and makes us sick. Shit they put in the water fucks us up, makes us sick, weakens us, destroys us, makes us more moldable, shapeable, placable, willing to follow, right, their orders. I haven't done this in quite a while, but the movie Flash Gordon from the 1980s had a very interesting dialogue between Ming the Merciless, King of Mongo, and his number one man, Clytus. Right? No, wait, it was someone else. But he said, it was between Ming and Flash Gordon himself. And Flash Gordon was there to save Earth from this king of Mongo fucking with him, trying to destroy the planet. And he says, look, you just quit fucking with me, Flash Gordon, and I'll make you king of the world. And I think Flash says something like, well, you mean everyone's going to be spared? And he goes, well, they won't be quite the same people they once were. Let's just say after I get done punishing them, they'll be satisfied with less. In other words, poison, harm, destroy, kill, fuck things up so badly that you just let them live and they'll be happy. They'll be happy to be slaves. They'll be satisfied with a lot less. Hey, how about this idea? The Klaus Schwab, that fucking clown, said people will own nothing and be happy. Even though Klaus stepped down from the World Economic Forum, that plan is still in play. The World Economic Forum, these rich, scumbag, satanic bastards, billionaires, aristocrats, corporation owners, bankers, they want to destroy us all and leave us under Islamic domain while they live above it, like Saudi princes who are Muslim, but they don't follow the rules of the regular people. They've got all the music, booze, alcohol, whores, and prostitutes that they can fucking handle, right? But for us plebes, we're to be destroyed, and we'll be satisfied with less. That's what I see. Anyways, Northern Pike, thank you for that interesting thought. Took me a little while to work around and think about it. Who's next? Mr. Uman. We're at, holy cow, we're just about 3/4 of the way through the show, folks. 90 minutes in. And Gary D is checking in with a 556 super chat donation here on, folks, it is November 30th. It is the eve of December 1st in 2025. He says, Gary does, I find it interesting that if you Google Translate mass shooters, you can't find a list. And you get a bunch of articles saying how rare trans shooters are. Well, how about that? How about that? Thanks, Google, for lying to us yet again. See, that's what they want. They want to control your activities, control your travel, control your thoughts, control your access, control, well, your speech, of course. And they do it a myriad of ways, with the internet telling you what you can and can't learn, by hiding from you what they don't want you to learn, and providing a lot of shit that doesn't fucking seem to help at all. Right? They want to control our travel with what? The amount of money we make, the cost of oil, the cost of tires, the cost of insurance, the cost of vehicles. You're not going any fucking where. They want to lock us down and take away all that shit. They're bastards. Now let's go over to the trans side. The trans side. Remember that group called BLM, Black Lives Matter? Remember how fucking weird it was to discover that Black Lives Matter wasn't like the Black Panthers. They weren't some militant black group. They were a bunch of homosexual, transgender blacks. That's what BLM was. It was pro-Marxist, pro-transgenderism for the black community. And they made cops, they made Democrats, they made weak-minded fucking idiots take a knee to them. Fuck you people. The NFL, fuck you NFL. Baseball, football, basketball. It was all BLM, and they didn't even realize they were worshiping transgender Marxist blackism. Ridiculous, right? But yeah, Google says, it's rare. Well, you mean like all the children who got shot up at the Christian school by that trans fruitcake, or the trans that shot those two cops down in our Border Patrol in Texas? Or was that Arizona? Or was it both? How many trans shooters do we have to get? Trans will shoot themselves up as much as anyone else. They tried going into churches and they get stopped. Who else was trans? Trans-loving, trans-associated, trans-affiliated? Well, the alleged Patsy shooter of, well, Charlie Kirk was a trans-loving fruitcake weirdo. But I think they're just using them as a patsy. In any event, they're not that rare, right? Antifa? Well, they're a bunch of fucking fruitcake, flag-waving, trans-loving ding-dongs. And they are a massive terrorist group that is not being arrested and rounded up. In fact, folks, in Gießen, Germany, I hope I'm saying that right, man. My German pronunciation isn't the best. Gießen? Okay, it's close. Gießen, Germany. 25,000 Antifa fucks attacked a youth group convention for the Alternative for Deutschland. Right? They assaulted, attacked, beat journalists. They smashed car windows, destroyed properties, and they even injured a fucking horse. 25,000 Antifa, meaning anti-government, anti-freedom, pro-trans, and homosexualism. But, you know, it's rare that they get violent. It's rare that they're shooters, mass shooters. No, that's fucking common. 25,000 of these fucks. Oh, AFD is like the youth group convention. That's like the Young Republicans. That's like TPUSA. It's young people trying to discover and understand conservatism, freedom, and liberty. Are you out there, me and you, are we prepared for what these assholes are up to. The trans shooters, the drug lords and drug gangs, the fucking Muslim population. Are you prepared once we take them out to hold those who promoted them, allowed them, funded them, transported them, and used them? Are you ready to deal with who those people are? Because if I just fucking came out and told you who those people are, well, 10 years ago, you'd have thought, no fucking way, John. Bankers, billionaires, and a bunch of global elitists who think that they are literally the offspring of God. At the same time, and probably in the same breath, if they were honest, they would tell you how they worship Satan. A bunch of billionaire Satanists are the ones pushing all of these fucked up groups on us. From Antifa to Trends de Uruguay to the Islam people, they're being pushed on us by these globalist billionaire Satanists. We're going to have to fight these people on our streets when they get turned loose on us. 25,000 folks, Antifa, according to the news, in Gießen, Germany, attack a bunch of youth conservatives. That's a lot of them, isn't it? Are you prepared for what these assholes are going to do to us if they get a chance? All right. Great fucking topic. Thank you, Gary, for the great donation. And here we go. There's a whole lot more to talk about on this Monday Eve. Okay. Well, here we go. Northern Pike back with a $2 super chat donation. He says, John, you explained a Q post perfectly. Q, huh? Maybe I'm Q. Maybe all along, folks, I've been Q, the head of QAnon. Maybe I've been seeding and feeding the whole world secret codes to get everyone prepared for the moment of liberation from these billionaire satanic bastards. Stand by for more codes. Man, huh? Well, I'm sending you a quick little message here. Okay. Bob Hunter, woo, from Scotland. He's back with another £5 super chat donation. Here we go. John, they hate us and they hate our minds. The Georgia Guidestones, the number one, maintain humanity under 500 million people in perpetual balance with nature. Fuck them. Well, I tell you what. But Bob is talking about the Georgia Guidestones were these very large stones. They look like the trilithons at Stonehenge in England from the Salisbury Plain. They were giant stones, 15 feet tall, maybe 4-5 feet wide, and they were stood up concentrically, and they had like a big capstone on top. But they had on there 10 rules. But one of them in particular always sat very unwell with the people of the planet. And it was the same thing on each side. I think it was 5 stones, the guide stones, with 10 different languages, one of them in English. And what they called for was the human population being limited to 500 million people globally, the whole planet, to keep in perpetual balance with nature. In the United States of America alone, we have 350 million. And if you look at the United States, if you drive across the United States, you are going to see an incredible amount of loneliness, empty countryside, empty farmland, empty mountains, fucking deserts that if you were walking would take months to cross. That figures you, man. Okay, it would take you months to cross. What they want is a population small enough that they can control and kill as needed. Control. But large enough to serve them, these satanic elite bastards who say you'll own nothing and like it. We're going to feed you bugs and you'll like it. We're going to give you computer printed slop for meat. You're going to eat trash. You're going to breathe trash. You're going to drink trash. We're going to own you. Watch the movie Ethereum. Not because it's a great movie, but because it shows a very rough example of elitist mentality and hatred for us. They hate us, like you wrote. They hate us. They hate our minds. You know what they really fucking hate, Bob? They hate good. They hate kindness. They hate empathy and sympathy. They hate virtue. You know why? Because they don't possess those things. They are unhappy people. They're fucking miserably unhappy. And their only satisfaction comes from stealing from others. That's why these bankers steal. That's why these governments tax. That's why these governments create legislation and laws and bullshit rules to fucking control us. That's why they hate the U.S. Constitution. Because this piece of paper, the U.S. Constitution, tells them, fuck yourself. The Declaration of Independence, same story. It tells them to go fuck themselves. That's why I read to you and tell you the Declaration of Independence is organic law. The Magna Carta is law. Common law is law. It is not statutory law. It is not Roman civil law. It is the law. And they fucking hate it because it says you bunch of elitist, aristocratic, rich fucking scumbags don't get to tell the people what to do. You don't get to steal their money or their property, but they do. Why? Because they hate us and they hate our minds. They hate our souls. They hate everything about us because we can own a little house on a little piece of property with some fucking chickens. And hey, Muslims, a couple of pigs too. And we don't need them. They've created a system where we need them, but we don't really need them. What we need are small communities. Our friends, our family, our neighbors. We need local government that we can control. They don't like that. They want to control us from afar using their bullshit powers. They want us to need them so they can screw us. Unfucking believable. Believe it, it is real. They do hate us. Bob is absolutely fucking right. This perpetual balance with nature, no. Perpetual balance with their ability to fucking kill us at a moment's notice, to teach us a lesson, to be our gods is what they want. Are you prepared, folks? Because if they turn the fucking monster loose. Nuclear war, biological war, chemical war, fucking religious war, jihad, intifada, communist fucking revolution, color revolution, whatever they turn loose on us, are you prepared? Do you have enough food to survive for a number of weeks or even months until civility is restored, the enemy is removed? Do you have enough water, the ability to acquire, sanitize, drinkable water? Do you have the clothing you need? It's fucking snowing like a motherfucker on Uman's house. Here at the Prepared Mind Bunker, I don't got to worry about that. Many places you got to have the right clothing, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. How can you protect yourself and your faith, if that's what you believe in most, your faith or your philosophy or your love of mankind, whatever it is? How are you going to defend it if you're without the proper tools? I feel really bad that England and Canada, Australia and New Zealand are so fucking handicapped. All of Europe, you're fucking handicapped. You got fucking jihad Joes running around with fucking knives, machetes, swords, cutting people up, acting like they're all badass. Only a fucking idiot Muslim would bring a sword to a gunfight. And that's what America is going to be. Oh, don't worry. They've got guns in America. You bet the Muslims are being given guns. They're being bought guns. They're being supplied with guns. Aloha snack bar, shooting from the hip. Bump, 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 bump. They're going to try their shit. America is loaded with fucking veterans. And folks, this weekend, I went onto the fucking internet, read around. Veterans are fucking livid because our politicians will not step up. They will not do their job. They will not protect America, the Constitution, or anything. They won't get rid of the illegals. They won't get rid of the fucking drugs. They won't do their fucking jobs. They won't arrest criminals. And people are pissed. Let me tell you something else about what's going on. In Texas, a migrant from Afghanistan. He probably showed up under Joe Biden's, whoops, let's get out of Afghanistan and bring over 100,000 Afghanis and let them into the fucking country, whether they're terrorists or not. So in Texas, an Afghan migrant has been arrested for what? Making a bomb threat. You want to go back to Afghanistan? Great. Look, I'm not an evil bastard. I don't just want to kill the motherfucker, but put him on a plane, send him back to Afghanistan. Put him in the fucking cargo hold with whatever we ship to Afghanistan. Just not more money. Which the government is still doing, by the way. Sending millions, if not billions of dollars into Afghanistan to subsidize their loyalty. So this fucking African migrant in Texas who's been arrested for making a fucking bomb threat, on his jailhouse records, list him as a white man. A white man from Afghanistan yells Aloha snack bar and starts threatening people with a bomb in Texas. I don't fucking think so. But this is why, and this is how the media gets to say white men are the biggest threat to democracy. Because it's brown men and tan men and black men from all over the world, from these third world shithole countries, being arrested and being called whitey on their fucking paperwork. And I'm not joking. I am not fucking kidding. I have seen pictures of men who are clearly Middle Eastern, Arab, if you want to be general about it. They're not white. They're not Caucasoids. They're not Caucasians. They're certainly not the brown ones. But how can you be? And then even the fucking Africans that are fucking Muslim over here screaming Aloha snack bar and killing people. They're not white, but you can see right there on their fucking arrest profile, they're white. And that goes into the white statistics. And then the Democrats go, white men are the biggest threat to democracy. Look how many attempted murders and acts of terror and all this shit that's going. They're not white. I'm not saying that there aren't white assholes out there who are bank robbers and murderers and rapists and fucking criminals and thieves and everything else. And there's even white men out there that have converted to Islam and would be more than happy to put a sword through my heart or cut my fucking head off. I'm not saying white people are immune from being criminal fucking retards. I'm just saying this is what they're doing to tilt the statistics and allow these fucking Democrats in the media to say white men are the biggest threat to democracy. I'm sure because they're white, we're just going to assume they're Republicans too, right? Good golly. I'm telling you, what a fucking wild ride we are on. You know, wow. Let's do more super chats. Hey, we got just over 15 minutes left, but I will stay right here in this chair with you guys as long as we've got some donations to do. And it's Blue Cord Devil back in the house with another super chat donation of $50. And that means I get another scotch. And who knows who is going to be next to try and, well, make my Monday morning very difficult. There's quite a number of you out there that do these $50 ones. And I thank you for spreading them out so I don't get too schnockered. And I want to keep this thing sharp as a tack while keeping this thing right where it goes. Woo! Not bad at all. Like mother's milk. Blue Cord Devil says, I saw the House passed a way bill to reject all forms of socialism in the USA. 86 Democrats, including Dollar Store Obama, voted for it. This is after he had endorsed New York City mayor. That would be Miami. Things that make you go, So the House passed a bill to stop or reject all forms of socialism in the U.S. I'm not aware of this. I wish I was aware. Folks, share internet address, hit the thumbs up. If you want to comment, you've got to be a subscriber. Subscribe button somewhere in the screen here down below. I'm not aware of this. I've got to look into this. Now I have my homework, Blue Cord. Sorry I can't articulate this. But yeah, things that make you go home. If this happened, if this is real, if the House actually passed a bill that rejected all forms of socialism, what's the enforcement mechanism? Was my question. All forms of socialism. Who is defining socialism? Who is in charge? Who enforces this? We have laws all over the books everywhere, folks. All kinds of laws that would have put dozens of Democrats in prison for election fraud, election interference, right? For, let's see, I don't know, bribery, extortion, racketeering, money laundering, malfeasance of office. No one's enforcing these laws. So if they're going to reject all forms of socialism, okay, who's going to enforce that? What's the penalty? You see, we have laws, we have penalty, everything else. It's crazy business. Crazy. I just want someone to fucking get arrested for the crimes they've committed. So you and I can feel like we have a fucking country that's operable. Anyways, thank you, Blue Cord Devil, and thank you for the drink. It's making me all warm and fuzzy right here, but not fuzzy up here. I hope I don't sound fuzzy. Ooh, man, who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? And it is Bob Hunter back from Scotland with another 10-pound super chat donation. He says, John, my cat is called No Name. I've been to a desert on a horse with no name. Sing on the first part of the journey. I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. That's an old fucking song, Bob. I'm old enough to know it. I've been to the desert on a horse with no name. La, 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 la. Thank you, Bob. Okay, man. I'm not going to quit my day job, folks. Ned's back. Viking 670 Boomer with another $20 super chat. He says, my new job is as an airport screening officer, and the tests weren't easy. Oh, I know where you're going with this. My question is, asks Viking, how did Haitians and Africans who can't speak English doing the same job pass those fucking tests, which you, as an educated man, an intelligent man who's lived life long enough to understand all basics of law, intelligent thought, right, patterns of intelligence, how you had a hard time. But these motherfuckers can just get hired. It's because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's it. You have the right accent, or fuck, you can't speak English. Oh, you're perfect. Just like in fucking Minnesota. They've got enough Muslim power in these cities that they're hiring Muslim fucking Somali fucking police who are there to defend Somalians. Some of the biggest fucking low IQ thieves on the planet. In fact, 2 of them were convicted by a jury for fucking stealing, embezzling over $5 million, and the judge dismissed it. Someone tried saying, oh yeah, judges can dismiss a jury. Since fucking when? The judge is supposed to be an impartial referee in a jury trial. Their job is to help the jury understand the law, understand what is and is not admissible. That's it. They're an impartial referee. Neither there to prosecute nor defend. We also have fucking judges in this country who are fucking retarded. Man, I tell you, it's all about the way things look. Plus, they want these people who don't speak fucking English, these Haitians, these Africans, these fucking Indians, whoever you got there, They want them to let their people through, knowing that these people from other countries will harass and screw with and steal from white people. Yep, that's a fact. That's a fucking fact. They can go through luggage of other fucking Haitians and Somalians and fucking Africans and fucking Arabs and fucking Indians. They're not going to find anything of value. You want to know why? Because if they have anything of value, they're going to keep it on their body, in their clothing. Right? If they have gold, they're going to have a gold chain. They're not going to put fucking gold bars in their suitcase. But stupid white people will. Oh, this is about, it's about control and domination. Period. Well, I wish you very much luck in your airport screening job. I don't envy you at all, because you're going to have to put up with all manner of bullshit and stupidity. I fucking hated that part of working for a corporate structure, knowing that there's a human resources department and their job is to favor one racial group over me and always be fucking with me and accusing me of shit and blaming me for all their problems because I'm white with blonde hair. I'm just there doing my fucking job, making sure everything operates fine, building stuff, fixing stuff. You've all got the same problem out there. I know it. You fucking know who you are, whether you're white or black. If you're a good fucking person, you know that they fucking hate you. It doesn't matter if you're Hispanic. It doesn't matter if you're from Puerto Rico. If you're a good fucking person, it doesn't matter. Native American, it doesn't matter. When you're a good person, you see the bullshit and you realize how the system is set up around you to make your life fucking difficult and to fuck the good people. Isn't that fucking fascinating? Isn't that fucking fascinating? Well, I find it fascinating. I mean, there's a very powerful, large man up in Minnesota. His name is Royce White, but he's not white. He says they need mass deportation of the Somalis in Minnesota. And he's going to run for the U.S. Senate in Minnesota. He's going to have a hell of a run. He's already lost a couple elections because Minnesota, even Ronald Reagan, back in 1980, that Ronald Reagan, President Reagan, said it's impossible to win in Minnesota. It is so fucking corrupt up there. Anyways, what we need for all states is real patriots who mean business and aren't afraid. Right? We need more Thomas Masseys. We need more America First. We need these people to replace all of the pro-illegal, pro-Israel, pro-Ukraine, pro-anti-America, right? That's what they are. They're pro-anti-America. These stinking lawyers. All these fucking politicians are lawyers. Lawyers need to be removed from office, from political office. You want to know why? This is the number one reason. Because their morality, their ethics, they're taught and rewarded to take money for any cause or any client, whether it's good or evil. Even if they know they're evil and bad, they're still there to take their money as a lawyer. So they get elected into political positions. They don't give a fuck who is asking for what, as long as they get their money. That's what they're taught. Serve your client no matter how evil they are, because that's what lawyers do. And so that's what lawyers do. And we need real fucking men and women to stand up for what's right, get elected, right? But these fucking lawyers are scumbags, and they know it. Can you imagine hating yourself so much that you'll sell your fucking country out for a fucking buck? Unbelievable, huh? Okay. Oh, man, who's next? What have we got, man? We got Bob Hunter from Scotland. He's back again with a 2-pound. He says, my favorite movie, John, is Papillon. Yeah, from 1973. Papillon, starring Steve McQueen. I think the other one was Dustin Hoffman. They were the stars of the film. And it was about this place called Devil's Island. It was a prison. It was a fucking prison island off the coast of France. And papillon means butterfly. That Steve McQueen was arrested. And Dustin Hoffman was a rich guy who was also arrested. But if you go to prison and you got money and you can pay off guards, then you can live a better life even in prison, right? So on the ship as they were sailing over there, Steve McQueen introduces himself and lets Dustin Hoffman's character know that I know you've got a roll of money stuffed up your ass, in a literal sense. He says, any one of these other fucking people, and I'm kind of paraphrasing the plot of the movie, any one of these other criminals are going to cut you open to steal that money. So don't think you're fucking safe just by money, right? It's going to take some muscle. Anyway, Steve McQueen needs to escape Devil Island, which is supposed to be impossible. It's kind of like the Alcatraz of Europe, right? It's just a shithole island with cliffs and water that'll smash you on the fucking rocks. His job is to escape it. He is tortured. He is put in solitary confinement. He's got fucking scurvy. His teeth are falling out. This is Steve McQueen's character, right? Papillon. But he never stops trying to get away from the fucking devil, right? This island, the bad guys. At the end of the movie, he does manage to get away, get out, and I think he's out in the water swimming. You know what's going to fucking happen to him. He's going to drown. He's going to die of exposure, die of thirst, or the fucking sharks are going to eat him. But that is better than living amongst these motherfucking scumbags, right? So I understand, Bob, why you might like the movie Papillon. I understand why. Old movies are pretty interesting, folks. They don't need CGI. They don't need artificial intelligence and bullshit. It was just a fucking story that they could tell that makes you think. Old movies, good stuff. Ooh, man, who's next? Northern Pike is back with a $2 super chat. He says, brilliance is a prepared mind. Kind of reminds me of that movie, A Brilliant Mind. Well, not really, but the word brilliance. A prepared mind is a good thing to have, folks. You can call it brilliant. You can call it useful. As long as you're prepared, that's all I give a shit about. All the physical things you need, but the prepared mind, folks. That's why the saying goes, chance favors it. An unprepared mind, chance, luck, it's out the window. Thank you, Northern. Man, who is next? We got just a few minutes left, but I think we got some great topics here. Big Dan the Man checks in with a $10 super chat donation. I hope the West Coast is taking good care of you, big man. He says, Christianity 1,000 years ago was similar to Muslim beliefs. If you claimed the earth moved around the sun, you were executed in some very bad way. The Pope was the supreme commander, even over kings. Folks, Dan is talking about Christianity, but also Catholicism, right? The Catholic Church, the Pope. Well, who was the guy that said that the earth revolves around the sun, not the sun revolving over the earth? Was it Copernicus? Now, anyways, I know there was a bunch of these guys back at the time that started the concept of what's known as heliocentrism. Yeah, the Pope didn't like it. And I think Copernicus was the guy. Yeah, Copernicus. And he was ordered, basically, get this, house arrest. You're to go to the top of that tower and stay up there. You're locked up there. You're exiled forever, the rest of your life. Yeah, some people were killed. Folks, the Knights Templar, and there was also the Knights Hospitaller, the Teutonic Knights from the Germanic states, fought against the evil Muslims in the Holy Land. And when they returned to Europe, many of them were accused, namely the Knights Templar, of worshiping Satan by the church because, well, it's a good story. King Philip the Fair, le Bel, meaning the handsome. King Philip the Fair was broke, meaning politically, militarily, maybe I should just say money. He needed money. He borrowed money, couldn't pay it back. He is out of money. But he did manage to install the Pope of his time, King Philip the Fair. So he owned the Pope, but he owed everyone money. So he used the Pope and said, these Knights Templar refused to loan me money. They're Satan worshipers. So he had the Pope on Friday, October the 13th. The original October the 13th. The original Friday the 13th. The Pope sent all of his men and arrested Knights Templar, tortured them to death, burned the Grand Master at the stake alive. Yeah, folks, I have no fucking love of any religion that says, do as I say or I'll fucking kill you. I'm going to use my power as some religious organization to steal your money, control your life. I don't like that any more than I like a secular government saying the same fucking things, right? But the system is in the United States of America says nobody can do that to me, not church or state. And so I'm supposed to live in a realm of protected environment. Who is threatening that right now? Our government in Washington, D.C. says they can tax the shit out of me. They can pass any law and throw me in jail for it. I say, the fuck you can't. It's called the Constitution. You have to have a real violation, a crime. You can't just make some shit up and arrest me. Oh, we're going to get jail for a hate crime. There's no such thing. Well, this statute says statute's not law. Statute is statute. It applies to corporations and government institutions. Doesn't apply to people. Fuck you. These Muslims in this country want to kill us? Bad, right? Other nations with Middle Eastern religions that fucking hate us and want to see us crushed and destroyed, right? Once again, religion. Okay, and the religion, or rather the government that is authoritarian, that is just as bad as the Inquisition Catholics and the murderous Muslims. Authoritarian socialist nations create a god. The god is the government, and you will serve it, and you'll have no other god before it. In other words, no other god is going to save you from them. And you cannot use your god as justification for getting rid of that government. So that's what authoritarian socialists and communists want, is for you to accept them as God, while the Muslims want you to accept Aloha Snack Bar as your God. And thankfully, a couple hundred years ago, the Catholic Church gave up killing people for not believing its bullshit tenets, because they were called out by none other than a priest named Martin Luther, who wrote all the fucking hypocrisy down, all of his problems with the Catholic Church, and nailed it to a fucking door. He also, by the way, wrote a book about the evils of the Talmud and the Judaic people. Oh yeah, folks. Religion, government. That's why the Constitution is so important, because it tells the government you cannot, you will not, you have no authority. Your job is to protect the people, not own, dominate, control, and fucking punish them. Good shit, man. Thank you, Big Dan. I appreciate the topic. We are past the 2-hour mark. Uman's telling me we got more to talk about. And Bob Hunter from Scotland is back. 2 pound. And he says, John, take a breath, man. Well, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. Big Dan is back with a $5 super chat. He says, if your political party was represented by a bird, the Republicans would be an eagle and the Democrats would be a turkey. They gobble our money away. There's another bird out there. It's called a vulture. And it is carrion, meaning it eats the flesh of the dead. That's what vultures do. They pick at dead meat, right? That kind of reminds me of the two-winged bird, right? The left wing and the right wing, and they're fucking eating and picking away at us even before we're dead. Sorry to be so gruesome there and a little macabre, but I tell you, Dan, symbology is very important. Using symbols to explain, to educate, it's not evil. In fact, that's exactly what a fucking meme is. A meme is a picture. It can be a real picture, a cartoon. It can be a faked picture. It can have no words. It can have words, but it explains symbolically what the fuck is going on. And Democrats hate it. They're no good at memeing. They're just good at fucking lying. But a meme tells 1,000 words, right? A joke, a picture. Things explain things so well. So the Republicans are an elephant. I don't know who the fuck picked that. The Democrats are a jackass. Well, that's fucking appropriate. Stubborn as a mule, right? Mules are stubborn. They're also dumb as fuck. Yeah, some mules can be great and funny and cute, right? But for the most part, right, there's their symbols. America's symbolic bird is supposed to be an eagle. That of the German is a hawk. Right? I think it was, they wanted to use the turkey as the national bird. But I think it was Benjamin Franklin said, no, let's go with the eagle. Right? It's a little more majestic than the turkey. But if it had been the turkey, well, shit, we'd be laughing about that one, wouldn't we? But all of them gobble our money and pick at our flesh. Thank you, Big Dan. Mr. Ooman, who's next? Prepared Mind Channel, Sunday Night Live. Who's up next? Holy cow. Christmas come early from Blue Cord Devil. Woo! I'm going to have me another scotch, folks. $50 super chat buys me an 18-year single malt scotch. This one is aged in a, holy cow, an Oloroso sherry and bourbon barrel. Well, that would explain, well, the 18 years is why it's so damn smooth. And the sherry oak barrel is why it smells so good. And why, whenever that bottle runs low, I just replace it with another 18. I like that. Pardon me. Woo! Like mother's milk. All right. I'm all warmed up here. Blue Cord says, peace and prayers, John, Jolene, Ooman, and everyone else. Watch your six. Stay calm. Stay armed. One more for the morning drive. Well, I'll be perfectly sober tomorrow morning. And definitely feeling a little bit, shall we say, tired and sluggish. But not bad. Certainly won't be inebriated. Certainly won't be impaired. But by golly, I'll be feeling this. Thank you, Blue Cord, very much. Oh, man, who's next? What have we got? Who's on the channel? Who has something to say? And it's Northern Pike with a $5 super chat. And he hits the Northern Pike hat trick for the day. He says, all of Congress are shapeshifters of crony capitalism. Should be aware. Should we be aware? Well, now, there's the David Icke lizard people, right? Like this fish here. He talks about lizard people, right? Yeah, beware of the crab. Anyways, lizard people, reptilians. I believe there's reptilians here. They're using the reptilian part of the brain, the medulla oblongata. That is I think the source or part of the brain that they're most wired to follow. And the medulla oblongata is responsible for, well, anger, hatred, and also, self-preservation, survival. Right? That's the reptile brain. Survive. And I don't believe we come from reptiles, by the way, folks. I don't believe that. I don't believe we come from monkeys either. But this, what's known as the reptile part of the brain, it's about survival and domination and having so much, right? You've got enough to live. That's okay. You keep wanting more. They're reptilians, but Northern Pike says they're shapeshifters of crony capitalism. So they will say and do whatever it takes to make sure that reptilian brain of theirs continues to be satisfied as they live and steal and suck off of us like parasites. And that is all of Congress, I must agree and say. I just needed to add a little more color to it, kind of flesh out the painting by describing it more. They are shapeshifters. They are lizard people. They are operating in the most fundamental, weak part of the brain, but then they use their other intelligence, the larger brain, to facilitate their survival the way they see it needs to happen. All right. Ooh, thank you, Mr. Uman. Good golly. Okay, folks, let's keep going. 2 hours and 11 minutes. We haven't gone this long in quite some time. And fucking Bob, I tell you, man, look, if I could fly to Scotland from Florida, get on a plane, say at Miami International, unless they got a plane out of Jacksonville International that goes to England, I would do it. I would head that way. I would absolutely love to come to Scotland to meet the people. And once again, it's about people, good people. Folks, I would love, if it was possible, to go to a country in South America, like Argentina. I know it's full of good fucking people. Or maybe Asia. I would love to go to Beijing. I'd love to go to China and meet the real Chinese people. And go to Japan. Maybe a little of Tokyo, but Osaka, right? And go up north. I would love to go all around the world. But Scotland, folks, it's just got a special place in my heart. But I know if I go there, I'm going to be arrested in fucking England. I'll be arrested at fucking Heathrow or wherever. But Bob says, John, why do we need to go through this shite again? Bob, as a child, as a young man, as a boy, as a teenager, as a Marine, as an adult, I learned about Constitution and history. I learned about European history. I learned a little about Chinese history and Japanese history, little about African history, not a whole lot going on there, nor South America, North American history prior to European colonialism. I learned, though, that tyrants destroy their country. I learned that tyrants kill their own people. They kill other people. They're tyrants. I learned my lesson. But I was never in a position to become a tyrant. I'm not king. I can't be king. Doesn't matter whether somewhere back in my family 10 generations ago or 20 generations ago, there was noble blood somewhere. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm not going to be an aristocrat and become a tyrant and a king and run a country. Nor do I want to. The reason we need to go through this shite again, Mr. Hunter, is because the people who have the ability, the wherewithal, or the money to put themselves into positions of greater and greater power, they've learned about this shite, but they think that it's their turn. They think that God has chosen them. How many times do we have to fucking hear this, by the way? Even the United States government says Israelis are God's chosen people and we have to support them. Stupid. Well, the King of England, the King of Sweden. Yeah, I'm Swedish. The King of Sweden, other fucking kings and nobles and aristocrats think they are promised because of their DNA that they're better than everyone else, and therefore they have the right to rule because of their divine blood. They fucking believe that shit. Whether they think they got the blood of Jesus through that line or some other line is just a line of shit. But they use it and they want to do it again. And then they lose, Bob. And then they try and kill everyone off again. And then they lose it. They get removed. How many English kings have been beheaded by their own people? Many. French kings. Not enough. Other kings, yeah. Look, because they don't learn. The reason we need to go through this shit again is those who have a belief that they're superior won't stop being murderous fucks. Whether they're European aristocrat, whether they're Israelis thinking they're Jews, thinking that they were promised something 2,000 years, whether they're Muslim and from 1,400 years ago believe that a child raping warlord named Muhammad was actually spoken to by the Archangel Gabriel, and he wrote down exactly what God wanted. You know, this Allah character. They all believe the same thing, and they're going to continue to go through and make the same mistakes. Maybe it's because we, as people who just want to be left alone, are too fucking nice. Like I said, after we defeat all the Muslims, after we defeat all the communists, after we defeat all of the bad guys, do we go find who is paying them and asking for this and demanding it? And instead of letting them live, we take their property and we take their lives and we erase their bloodlines. See, that's what they fear the most. But we're too fucking kind. After we won our freedom from England, the King of England, King George the asshole, guess what? We didn't go over to England to fight him over there afterwards, even though John Paul Jones, right, who said, I have not yet begun to fight, after he sailed over there and attacked the English in their own fucking harbors, stole their fucking ships, right? Yeah. But after the war, we didn't go after England. We didn't go there to fight and kill more and then get to the fucking king and take his head. Perhaps we should have. But all Americans wanted to be was left alone. A lot of us still have that feeling. We're free. Leave us the fuck alone. But they won't. So we got to put up with this shite again, Bob. All right, man, where are we going next? We got, okay, just a little bit more. We got William Nipper stepping in with a $4.99 super chat. And he says, hi, it's been a while since I watched live. William, welcome back, man. It is going to get fucking weird, exciting, crazy, scary, etc. from here on out, brother. Here on out. Next year is an election year, an off year, and politics in America is fucking stupid. The immigration is stupid. International stupidity is, it's going to get crazy. Stay tuned, brother. We need you here. We need you to share. We need you to prepare. Okay, man, who is next? And it's Bob again. Holy cow. Big Bob. If you would, head down to jolly old England and find out where Steve Conlon is. Worried about that guy. I haven't heard from him in quite a while. And same with our friend Vincent over there in Belfast. Anyways, Bob says, John, thank you for being you. And I want to thank all of you for giving a fuck, for having goodness, for understanding the need to be prepared, for being willing to share your experiences, your opinions in the comments. Do me a favor, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Wake up your family. At the very least, wake up your neighborhood and figure out who is there. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours.